Welcome back to another day of NFL football with two very excellent matchups for today. Steelers was going to be the initial matchup around 1 o'clock, but because of the weather, they're pushed off to later. And we're really here to look and see how Gematria works with games. So let's look at last week's games. On 101, we had looked at strictly the teams and the dates, and now we're going to integrate the coach. So what I've done is I have Jack Del Rio, and when you put it in the Gematria, that's 8 for the Jewish, 6 for the English, and 7 for the simple. And if you note that the Raiders over here matched an 8 with the Jewish 8, with the name January, as you remember. So does Del Rio. Now, what did we say? That a lot of times matching the Jewish is death to the team. So not only did they have it with the Raiders, but they also had it with the coach. Now let's look at the Houston Texans and see if there's any information here. Now with them, remember they matched the English, which was good. On the Houston Texans. Remember, this is the full team right here, the numbers, and then here is just Raiders Texans. So Bill O'Brien has a 3 and a 3 and an 8 on with him. So if you look to see if there's any matches of a 3 or a 3 or an 8, there's really no match. So there's nothing really more that we could really get out of Bill O'Brien and looking at him with the dates at all. So next we'll move on to the Lions. They had, remember, the Jewish 8 date, and Caldwell has a 1-3-5, which had no match on the dates, and Pete Carroll had a 0-3-8. Well, looks like we have a little bit of a match here with Pete Carroll going back to the date. Now, for the Lions, that was Jewish, and it was a killer for them. But with Carroll, remember what I said, when a simple number matches, that usually takes a back seat. And that's where this 8 here really stood out and took hold. Now, if we look at the next set of games with the Dolphins and the Steelers, here we see that we have a match with the Dolphins of Adam Gase with a 4 matching the English and the simple, but here we had Tomlin, who also matched up with the simple. So you have a little bit of a, let's say, a contrast with it, but the Steelers, remember, was the one who had a simple match, and therefore they have a little bit more going on, and hence the win. Now, when we go down on the bottom with the Giants and the Packers on that one, the only thing that we really saw here was, here you have 3-1, 3-2-2, nothing with Ben, but now we're starting to see a little bit of a match. Mike McCarthy with the 3 in his simple was matching the date. And so there you're starting to see a little bit of favor as far as the matching. And this is, just think of, you have a group of people and you want to figure out how you should bet, or who's going to take one team if it's among yourselves, or however you're doing it, but you got to communicate it. So you have someone who is going to figure out all the numbers for you, and he's got to communicate it, but he can't call and tell you, so he's going to use something up online. And in this case, maybe the NFL is using the NFL website on there to let you know the date, the time, who the coach is, the teams, etc. And people know to use that for communication, and maybe, who knows, there's a little influence, but it seems to be a little odd that these numbers have a really good tendency to match up. Overall, through the year, it seems to work. I found in about 75% range. When you get down to the playoffs, more in the 90% range with it. So, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back with Gematria 103 next week, and we'll start getting into the quarterbacks at that time, so you can see how the quarterbacks and the coach and the team names all get wrapped up with the date, and we have the matches. So remember, I have the link behind if you want to get my full analysis for the games today, and then you'll get subscribed for the rest of the playoff games on it. So take care. Sherlock off.